Novel formats, prose, poetry, and graphic novels. What makes them different from one another, and what kind of reader might want to read them? All in this video from the Word Nerd. Hey everybody, it's Amanda Zieba on Learning with the Word Nerd, and today we're going to be talking about book formats. Now, just like all authors have many different stories they can tell, they also have a few different ways in which they can tell that story. But looking at the book from the outside, you might not be able to guess that. For example, if we look at these two books, they look pretty much the same from the outside. They've got a cover image, they've got a blurb on the back with maybe pictures of some of their other books. Even the information on the spine is pretty much the same and in the pretty much the same spot. So, how can you tell? The difference, just like humans, is often on the inside. So, when we look on the inside, you can see that these stories look very different, and they even look more different than this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at 3 different kinds of book formats, what kind of a reader might be attracted to each of these kinds of book formats, and some examples so you can get your hands on them and get reading as soon as possible. Are you ready? Let's dig in. The 3 kind of book formats we're going to be talking about today are prose, novel and verse, and graphic novels. First up, prose. Let's look at a few definitions from literarydevices.net. Prose is the most common and popular form of writing in fiction and nonfiction works. Works written in prose feature language that flows in natural patterns of everyday speech. Prose is a way for writers to communicate with readers in a straightforward, even conversational manner and tone. Prose novels are probably the most familiar to you because it's the most common style of writing that we frequently see. We have paragraphs of 4 to 5 sentences, all indented, flowing down the page, one after another, without a lot of breaks unless we're getting to a new chapter. Prose novels are written at a wide variety of reading levels, so they can be great for anyone, but they're especially great for people who like lots of narration and lots of description. Prose books are the most commonly written books and therefore the easiest to find, so you should have no trouble getting your hands on prose books. Here are a few of my favorites. If you think you might be a prose reader, here are a few great ones. If you like realistic fiction stories about people overcoming obstacles, then the first and last book on this list, The Running Dream and Wonder, will be perfect for you. If you like science fiction or adventure stories, Cinder might be perfect. It's a fairy tale retelling, except this time Cinderella is a cyborg. It's also the first in the series. If you like historical fiction stories, you might want to read about Ada in The War That Saved My Life. It's a World War II story about finding yourself and finding where you belong. All of them are amazing, and you can't go wrong. Next up, novels in verse. Again, let's start with a few definitions, this time from literarydevices.net and Wikipedia. A poem is a collection of spoken or written words that expresses ideas or emotions in a powerfully vivid and imaginative style. A poem is often comprised of a particular rhythmic and metrical pattern. Novels in verse are a series of poems. A novel in verse is a type of narrative poetry in which a novel-length narrative is told through the medium of poetry rather than prose. Let's see what this looks like. Novels in verse use far fewer words on the page, making them perfect for reluctant readers or people who are slow readers and take a little bit longer to get through a story. They're also great for word nerds like me who are on the hunt for amazing word choices. Because novels in verse have fewer words to use on the page and fewer words to tell their story, the author needs to make sure that they pick only the best ones. Novels in verse do a great job of painting a picture in your head. So if you're someone who likes to visualize a story while you read, novels in verse are going to be a great choice for you as well. Here are a few of my favorites. In Other Words from Home, Jude immigrates from Syria to America, and this story is all about how she learns to be herself in a place that feels so new. Hidden is told in 2 voices. One is Wren, who is accidentally kidnapped when her mom's van is stolen with her inside. And the other is Dara, the daughter of the thief. Alone is a modern-day survival story. It's kind of like Hatchet, but instead of a plane crash causing her isolation, Maddie's is caused by a sleepover gone wrong and a terrorist threat. The Canyon's Edge is another kind of survival story, and in this one, Nora isn't sure what's more dangerous, the deadly desert or her grief-ridden state of mind. All of these books are incredible and will not disappoint. Alrighty, last but not least, graphic novels. First, a definition from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. A graphic novel is a story that is presented in comic strip format and published as a book. And then this one from Wikipedia. A graphic novel is a book made up of comics content. Although the word novel normally refers to long fictional works, the term graphic novel is applied broadly and includes fiction, nonfiction, and anthologized work. Graphic novels are just like comic books that tell a story in words and pictures, except they're in a little bit sturdier format. You can see what I'm talking about here. Graphic novels are amazing for all kinds of readers, reluctant readers, visual learners, and especially for early readers and English language learners, because they can use both the pictures and the words and put them together to understand what's happening all the way around. One of my favorite parts about graphic novels is the way that the artist gets creative in displaying the words. See here, like, goal. You can just hear that being screamed out at the game. Graphic novels can come in full color or black and white, and they can tell all kinds of stories. I've actually read graphic novels that are biographies and graphic novels that are nonfiction, so it's not just for telling made-up stories. Here are a few of my favorites, or more importantly, my son's favorites, because this is their favorite book format too. Dragon Hoops is an amazing mashup of a team's epic run at the California State Basketball Championships and the history of the game of basketball in general. A Wrinkle in Time is A Wrinkle in Time. It's just a graphic novel version of the classic novel we all know and love. Chunky is about a boy and his imaginary friend who helps him survive childhood, especially while trying out for all the sports his parents want him involved in. This story is inspired by the author's real life. And last but certainly not least is the Newbery Award-winning book New Kid by Jerry Craft. In this book, it's all about Jordan, who loves drawing cartoons. But instead of going to art school like he really wants, his parents send him to a prestigious private school where he's one of few kids of color and has to work hard to navigate both his culture and his new school. I can tell you that my kids love each and every one of these books, and I bet you will too. I hope that hearing about these 3 kinds of book formats today was helpful for you, and that the next time you head to the library or bookstore, you can find exactly what you want to read. I'll see you again next time. Happy reading. If you're a Prose fan but aren't quite sure what to read next, check out this full playlist and listen to some of the first chapters aloud for free, and then make your decision. So you're super excited about novels in verse? You can give these great books a try for free on my First Chapter Friday playlist. And if you think graphic novels are sounding great, you can check out these other videos on my channel that feature them as well. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and come back again for more great videos from the Word Nerd.